My name's EksAyn Anderson. Welcome to the Principal Podcast today. So today we're going to be talking about the principle of managing expectations and how that affects relationships, how it affects all kinds of relationships. It affects family relationships, business relationships, any kind of relationships. There's this thing called expectation. So if somebody has an expectation that this is the way life should be, that they want their expectations, this is the level of something that I'm expecting. It could be anything. The level of service, the level of respect, the level of happiness, the level of whatever it is. But then if the reality comes down lower, so here's reality, here's my expectation. The distance between these two, the distance between my expectation, which is high, and my reality, which is lower, I call it frustration. So the more these two diverge, if my expectations go up and my reality goes down, the distance of my frustration, which is the distance in between the two, actually increases. As I'm able to bring these two together, so either bring my expectations down or the reality up, or even to the point where they could be on the same level, that eliminates the frustration. Now, I've seen this happen a lot of times where people set expectations saying, this is what we're going to do. I've seen it in business. I've seen it, I've done real estate in the past. And sometimes you hear real estate agents who would say, oh yeah, we can get you this listing price. But then in reality, they couldn't sell it for that much. And so they ended up having a frustrated seller. So you'd have somebody who would try to, say they could list the house for this much, but then when it actually sold for this much, they wouldn't get any referrals. They wouldn't get any, probably any more business, because what they were doing is setting the expectation, this is how I'm going to perform. But when it actually performed, it was here. And then you had a frustrated seller. You see what I'm saying? But that happens in relationships as well, where if you set an expectation, this is what's going to happen, and then it comes in lower, frustration happens. Now, people who are good at relationships are able to manage this. Now, one of the best ways to manage getting expectations and reality on the same level is to just tell the truth. Just say, hey, I'm not sure if we can do that, or we can do it. We may be able to, we may not, but I'm going to, we'll try. But don't overpromise and underdeliver. In fact, the people who are good at relationships and good at business, good at sales, good at all kinds of things, are people who can actually flip these two lines. So instead of having my expectations higher than my reality, if you're really good at this, you can have people have their reality better than they expect. I talked about this a little bit on a different podcast. I think it was on my first podcast, actually, where if you can catch people doing something right and do it in an unexpected way, things get great. So let me give you an example. My wife and I went to this restaurant, and there was this girl who she was just awesome. She was funny to talk to. I don't know exactly what it was, but my wife and I really enjoyed talking to her. And I, we're not very good at this, but we decided this one time, we said, you know what, why don't you go get your boss over here? And she went and got her boss. And we said something like this. We said, you know what, this waitress that you have working for you, she is awesome. Like, I would come to this restaurant just because of her. And she was within earshot when I said this. So her boss was there and she was within earshot. And I just said, take care of her. I may have even told them to give her a raise in her promotion. I can't exactly remember exactly the words, but I said something very complimentary about her to her boss. Well, it was really interesting because this same girl came over, and she was, after the boss had left and we were just her and my wife and I, she said something like this. She was trying to hold the tears back. And she said, you are the best table I've ever waited. Now, there is so much negativity in the world. If you can make things better than people expect, consistently find ways to make your interactions. And by the way, there's thousands of different ways you can do this. I told you before, I used to do real estate. Well, I remember I was selling homes for this one particular builder, and I had already sold a home to this person, and it was a great builder. But the guy came up to me, and who I'd already sold to, and one day he just asked me. He said, what's your favorite restaurant, or what's a favorite restaurant of yours? And I mentioned the name of a restaurant. The next time I saw him, he brought me a little $20 gift card to this restaurant. And it was a small gesture, But when he brought this gift card to me, I got to tell you, my desire to help him, to make sure that this process went as smooth as it possibly could, went way, way up. And I think it was because of this expectation thing. What he did was something, he made my reality better than I expected. I didn't expect one of my buyers, one of the people who I've worked with help buy, bring me a gift card. But he did. So my reality of getting this surprise gift card was better than I expected. Now, I've got to tell you, I'm not great at this. Okay. I'm trying to get better. I know the principle and I'm trying to apply it more in my own life, but I'll tell you one other way this worked. One time my wife, I knew that she wanted to go, she kind of missed her parents. Her parents were in Southern California, a different state. And again, I'm not very good at this, but this one time I actually did get it right. It was during the holiday season. There were some lights in the downtown in this area where I live. And she thought we were going to go down and see these lights. Well, on the way, she had kind of mentioned how much she missed her parents, which was perfect. And when we're driving down to this place, she didn't know this, but I had secretly packed a bag for her and bought a ticket for her to go see her family in California. But she just thought we were going to go down and see lights with some other my extended family. So we were driving down to see some lights. And on this one place, you have to either turn to see the lights, you have to turn to go to the airport. And just several minutes before, she'd said how much she missed her parents. And as we were driving, I just decided to turn the other way towards the airport instead of down towards the lights. And I said, you know what, I think you should go see your parents. I said, what do you, she was at first she said, hey, you missed the turn. And then I said that. And we went down and I got the bag out. And I got to tell you, that was one of the best things I've ever done. For our marriage. She really, really liked it. She was like, I can't believe this. Is this real? Is this real? Is it real? My kids were in the car and they gave her a hug and she went off. Anyway, it was a great experience. And it was one of those things where luckily I was able to align with that principle of making reality better than people expect. Well, you have hundreds of ways to do this. One of the ways is when you find somebody who's doing something right, compliment them, like get better yet, compliment them to their boss, right? So like I was at the oil change place and these people, they really did a great job on getting my car all done and they vacuumed it and washed the windows. And I got the guy I told them to get their boss over here and told the boss that these guys did a great job. And basically I think I probably told them to give them a raise and a promotion. And it's interesting because I come back to that same place and I don't even have to bring the coupon. They just say, hey, give that guy half off. When you catch people doing something right, it's good. Now, there's been plenty of times where I've created an expectation and I've failed and I've become in less. And it causes the people who I'm interacting with, which is really sad, including people in my family sometimes, where I've said, hey, this is what we're doing. And then then I haven't followed through or we've done it differently. And that's what causes frustration. And so if we can make it so that at least our expectations and reality are together, it's better if you can even find a way to make reality better than the expectations. But you set people up to be frustrated with you if you ignore this expectations piece. Thanks for joining us today on the Principal Podcast. Think about that today. Today, do one thing that makes people, just practice it one time today, where you do something, you might have to be a little creative here, but do something for someone that is way better than what they expect. And then tomorrow, do it again. Try to get to the point where you're trying to do it all the time. And this is one of the best things I think you can do in relationships. Thanks again for joining us. Go from there.